West Coast.
Oh yeah, you know I have to turn it up for one time. Elliott, you ready? DJ Hed, you ready?
West Coast.
Hey Jeremy, you ready?
They know it's time.
Let's get it. It's a cold game, cold world, that's why we talk about it. Ain't like everybody else that'll just walk around it. Views is different, snap a picture and now it's vintage. Cause it ain't just talking for the views, that's how he meant it. It's the bigger picture. Yeah, it's the bigger picture. Yeah, it's the big picture.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. The bigger picture.
Okay, I'm letting you guys have
Yep.
turning my mic off, and there you guys go.
All right.
So Hed's not gonna be able to call nobody and harass us.
I'll call him on it. I'll send him a Zoom link.
Go ahead, send him a Zoom link. Pop somebody
Somebody
up. Can we
might
do
pop
that?
in.
Can we do that? Well, we should
You
explain
could.
why we're on Zoom. We should explain why we're on Zoom. The bigger picture.
We're back. Yeah, so we're all in separate locations right now. Elliott, you are in New York right now?
I am at the Uprock's office, man. You know what I'm saying? We work here, Jeremy. I don't know if you know that officially.
We do some work. We do some work.
Elliott
Jeremy
can't
is also
yell right now.
Say it again.
I say Elliott can't yell right now.
I know I can't. Y'all gotta retain
He
myself.
can't yell the bigger picture. Yell it
The
as
bigger
loud as you can.
picture. The bigger picture.
He gets complaints from the offices next door. Somebody
But
was
Jer-
consistently yelling the bigger picture for an hour.
But the crazy thing is, Jeremy is also in New York at some secret hotel location. It looks kind of luxurious too, my friend.
It's nice. We're in the Lower East Side. I won't drop my location, but I do like the great city of yours. I do like the East Coast.
Hey,
And DJ
Heck,
had
why
a,
you didn't pull up to the office with Elliott?
Honestly, I just didn't want to be too close to him. I was just like, oh, let me get away.
gotta keep our
Wow.
distance.
Yeah,
Social distancing.
yeah, social distancing. No, me and Elliott are in New York. Hed, where are you at?
I'm at the house.
At the crib?
I'm in my studio at the house.
And he took over the logo. Look at this guy. He got the logo.
Hey,
How do you get why you get the logo? Terrible, man.
Hey,
What happened
well,
to teamwork?
a lot happened. We still have to make sure we got the show for you guys. So happy
Yes.
Saturday while you're watching. A lot happened this week. A lot happened this week. You guys want to start legal or you want to start with lists?
Now I want to start clips, all things clips. Can we talk
All right,
clips?
okay. Before we talk about the actual interview and the Def Jam and the features and all that, we hadn't spoken since the actual song dropped last week. I know we got it a couple hours early. We didn't get the full early drop, but what do you guys think of the actual song?
I'll let the
Classic Clipse
DJ go
record.
first.
Classic Clipse record, definitely. I mean, I didn't expect nothing different than what I got. Like, and I remember when I was talking about it, I think last week, I was saying that it's gonna be a Clipse record. It's not gonna be what people think it is. I mean, it's not gonna be different than what people think it is. It's gonna be a straight up hit in your face Clipse record. It's gonna be some raps. It's gonna be some of that talk on there. And
Yeah.
that's what I got. Even the video, you know what I'm saying? It's art. It's artsy. I ain't gonna lie. It's a little more artsy than I expected. But, you know, I'm a fan. I like the clips.
Yeah, I think one of the best singles of the year. It's exactly what we wanted. I think in the article, which we'll get to, they said it's their favorite song, so that's why it was the first offering. It's just very potent. I mean, what they call luxury rap, and just masterful rhyming, masterful schemes. I think the hook is incredible. You always remember like Push is such a fan of Biggie, and when you hear like his cadence and stuff, it's so Biggie inspired, but still his own. And Malice is showing that he's still razor sharp. Nothing's changed. I know Jeremy caught some heat, you know what I'm saying, last episode for questioning Malice and what direction he should go with his pen. But I think it was a great example that it could have growth and depth in it with lyrics and stuff. And even the craziness of like Pusha dissing Kanye on the song was crazy to me, like a little sublime. And then he doubled down in the article. But yeah, I just think the whole sound of like the luxury rap, just the potency, like Hed said, like a classic Clipse feel, like what they bring different to hip hop. So it instantly gets me excited. And again, this is my, most anticipated album of the year contender. You know.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. I did love No Malice's verse. I thought Malice got the better of Push if we had to compare those two verses.
Oh, going back to that, back to them saying which Thornton brothers better.
I think Malice had him on this one.
Jeremy
I
always pitting
honestly,
black people against each other.
yeah, I knew Ed was gonna go there, but listen, we're here. We're two of the great rappers of all time are on a
Soon
song.
as
And
soon as some black
compare.
brothers get back together, DJ had a white man trying to tear them up, man. What we doing?
But you talked about what happened. So this is last episode. Um, I had basically said that I didn't want to hear brick talk from Malice, which he didn't do much of. He didn't do a whole lot of on this. Just some slight. But I said as a quote tweet, I have the same stance about every rapper. I want to hear about your life growth in the music over time. I love Malice's verse on Ace Trumpets, but I'm excited to see how him and Push balance their perspective on the album and how him finding God changed his view on things. And Glasses quote tweeted and said, I only want to hear him talk about bricks, which I think is a lot of people's sentiments there.
So is he?
Which
So does he go back to being Malice, or he's still no Malice, technically?
I think it's officially Malice right now.
So he went back to Malice officially.
Went
Yeah,
back to Malice.
I love it. I like Malice. I'm a
But
big Malice fan. I wasn't as much of a fan of No Malice, no shots, but Malice though, that guy.
Malice had some crazy. He had a couple bars on there. He said, "Dressed in House of Gucci, made from selling Lady Gaga." Lady
Yeah,
Gaga,
that
House of
white.
Gucci, that white. Great. I love a good white reference. The amount of different white
It's
women
classic,
that
right?
could be called as a drug reference. And then the one bar that I loved here is, I love a good Bible bar. You know me. But from the tribe of Judah, I'm Mufasa. The symbol for the tribe of Judah is a lion, and of course Mufasa, the king of the lions. And then somebody pointed this out: never turn the other cheek. You'll die at the Oscars. Oscar being a double entendre of course, the Chris Rock Will Smith moment, but Oscars as in Scar
Mhm.
who died who killed Mufasa in the Lion King. Come on. Double entendre. Don't even ask me how. So
And you know
yeah,
what's so funny though? I think even with the whole career, when you look back at it now, and I think the GQ article, which we'll get to, kind of tied it in. It's just like, look at it's Lord willing, hell hath no fury, like God saw him out. And even the first thing that they did, the exclusive audio footage that never came out, it starts with a malice prayer. So there's always this kind of religious undertone, even when they were doing the street, community leader raps and street street vernacular. It always had religious tones to it, also.
yeah.
And it's been
You know what's
consistent.
crazy about this is, well, first of all, Jeremy Head got that off, and you didn't even catch it, Elliott Wilson.
Oh, I missed it. What do you do?
He says he love a good white reference.
That's
I
I
do.
thought he was talking about.
That was crazy.
Thank
But
God for that white. He's like, thank God for that white. He loves it.
but I think it's dope because a lot of people kind of like, after the Clipse album didn't come out last year,
Yeah.
I think people kind of was like, whatever. And people was like, oh, I saw a comment. I saw people talking about the Clipse album or just the Clipse in general, like, oh, this is not gonna happen. It was a lot. I'll just put it this way: there was naysayers. It was a lot of
Really?
saying, oh,
Really? United too? You guys think this?
maybe the records ain't right. Maybe the records ain't there. People were questioning the relationship with Pharrell,
Hmm.
and I just love a good redemption story. I love it, bro. I have some things to get into once we get there, but
Speaking of story, though, are you ready? DJ Head, I think that this gentleman that wrote the story, his name is Frazier Tharp. I think he
Shout out
heard all
Frazier.
this talk just like me. Lauren LaRosa got the belt. She's the king, queen of hip hop journalism. This young man, Frazier Tharp, man, wrote a hell of a piece on the Clipse
he
there,
did.
man. You know what I mean?
He
Yeah.
did
He
right. That
did.
I read it. It was a great
That's
piece.
some journalism.
Yeah,
And I
read
think it's so, yeah.
Real
No, go ahead, I'm sorry.
journalism. Real
Yeah.
journalism.
That must have excited you, Jeremy, right? Like it's so rare, I think, for somebody to do a thing now that's not on camera and create a story and like it be so impactful and provide new information and like people really connected to the storytelling element of it and the details. And like I just think it's refreshing when the era where, so much of what we do now is video content, for him the old school way to kind of really, take over the culture with this story. You know, I hate
Yeah, I
it
love it.
competitively.
Yeah, no, I knew. I honestly, as soon as I saw that drop, actually, my first thought now is what would Elliott think a lot of the time? And my first thought is Elliott has got to be fuming. A cover story,
No, I
news out
literally,
of it. He got the exclusive Def Jam story. Elliott's got,
and
you got to
you know
be
what
proud
happened?
and
Yeah,
what?
proud and what? I'm sorry. Go ahead. Proud and what?
Proud and fuming at the same time.
Absolutely. That was the perfect combination of proud and fuming. I literally texted him in real time and I said, I hate you in all caps. And he hit back and said, that's the highest compliment. So he's a young man that gets it. For people that don't know Frazier, he been doing it a long time. He's a young veteran. Pretty much got his start at Complex under Noah Callahan Bever, who's a protege of Ego Trip, and me and Sasha Jenkins, RIP. And Frazier's an incredible journalist, and he's been at GQ for several years now. And he's interviewed Beyonce, through email and shit. Like he does all this stuntastic shit since he's been at GQ, and this was another one of those. So definitely got to give him his props, man. He did his thing.
Yeah, when he was at Complex, I first moved out to LA. I went to Complex Con and I was like just trying to meet everyone I could, like get
Yeah.
advice from them. He was one of the early people who was more than happy to give me time and like give me advice on being a journalist, a media personality, just being in the game. So yeah, shout out to Fraser.
And one last thing that's cool about him too is like he wants the old school way. He like I always say I had a 2 decade career, 92 till 2013, where no one knew what I looked like. Frazier's the same way. It's all about the work speaks for itself. He don't want no shine. He don't want to be on camera. He want to, do things the traditional journalism way. That's why it's great to see the results he gets with the content he puts out.
hmm And he's
But
doing
fuck
it.
him still. I need an interview. Fuck it. I still need an interview. I'm mad. Pusha
Well,
promised me. DJ had Pusha still promised me an interview, man. He just
Hey,
did. He
listen,
did.
the way things is going, bro, I don't know.
Damn, man.
I
At
don't
two,
know.
at two,
I don't know,
at two,
King.
Brutus.
I don't know,
Got
King.
to
I
step my
think every
game up, right? I got
I think we all got
Laura
to step our
LaRosa.
game up.
Yeah, it's tough out here. It's a marathon.
rest in peace, and Nip. No,
To
what's
Frazier,
funny
to
though,
Frazier. Oh, you
to
can't toast
Fraser,
water, but yeah, you can't
but
toast water, but hey,
when Head mentioned the fact that there was like this whole movement of clips at a certain point and then it just died down. It's funny because I remember that fashion show clip, right? It was like,
yeah,
which now we know is the Kendrick song. But I don't
yeah.
know if you guys remember how big of a moment it was, and then it just faded when Jim Jones and Pusha were going back and forth on
Jim
record.
jumped on the beat.
That
Yeah, Jim jumped on the
that
beat. Yeah,
song, I'm pretty sure it was Chains and Whips, was initially a Jim Jones diss. Like that, I remember they were playing, it was either that or one of
yeah.
the other ones. They debuted at the fashion show, and it was a response to Jim Jones. And then we never got the actual song, and no one ever really, like, Jim Jones replied on his, like, it was like on the block freestyle. But it's funny how like that was actually such a minuscule part of what was actually going on behind the scenes with that whole Clipse thing.
Yeah, and he didn't change. He didn't change the verse. So the verse that lives is going to come out July 11th. Is his pole pusher verse is a diss towards Jim Jones, because at that time there was like what, who's the 50 greatest MCs or something. He
Yeah.
took some jab at him. So it's crazy that they made this great content, like Head was saying, and I guess people were still doubting them. But now they're standing on it. Like these songs haven't been changed, a lot of them. It's just like it's crazy that like this record sat in the vault. And I guess we should address the elephant in the room. Why did we get take so long to get this record that Frazier revealed that involves, certain legal things?
So these are quotes from the article. Uh, After a summer of beef between their two biggest artists that resulted in an ongoing lawsuit from Drake, Def Jam's parent company UMG blanched at the antagonistic Optics
Op
bar,
Optics, there's writing right there. Op Optics is
Op
the bar. There we
Optics,
go.
of two of Drake's biggest enemies linking on wax. Pusha
Look at that.
calls their
Look at
attention
that right now. Look
stupid,
at that.
primarily because none of the bars in Kendrick's otherwise excellent verse could really be perceived as a shot or even subliminal. It does, however, contain the stellar line, "Therapy taught me how to open up. It also showed me I don't give a fuck. I don't rate him no more," in quotes, Pusha says of Drake's antics. The suing thing is bigger than some rap shit. I just don't rate you. Damn, it's like it just kind of cheapens the art of it once we got to have real questions about suing and litigation. Like what for this? And finally, he says, if you expected the album last summer, the brothers sympathize, so did they. Pusha says they felt confident, proud, and assured of themselves when they presented music to Def Jam. The label loved what they heard. except for Kendrick Lamar's guest verse on the Thunderous Chains and Whips, the final version of the song that Pharrell teased at his Louis V runway show. And the song Pusha says was the first to come out of their sessions. Don't be fooled by Push's interviews appealing for one last guest verse and the Twitter jokes that he went to a GNX tour date to physically walk Kendrick into the nearest studio. K-Dot's verse homework has been turned in for a while now. Kind of like Hed said on uh, the Rory and Mal show. He said if Kendrick's asked to do a verse, I'm sure he turned it in. And so
Really? So you're saying that DJ Hed knew this was going on and he didn't tell his brothers for the bigger picture, this
There's been a lot
inside
of stuff going
information?
on that I can't really talk about, but I will say this. Um, I have a source.
Love it. Journalism.
and
Um, so according to uh my intel, this is uh this is the boy's second time doing this to Pusha. Um, there was a Pop Smoke thing,
yeah,
which I think Stephen Victor talked about.
yeah,
Uh,
that's public.
but yeah, that to my knowledge, that is true. While all of this was going on, they requested the lyrics because they thought that it was going to be a continuation of what was going on last year on the record, and two of the main characters clicking up and doing whatever the case may be. It's just a lot of main character syndrome going on. It's like, bro, everything ain't about you. You know what I'm saying? Let you know. And so and if you remember, I'm the one who told y'all there was a record, and we started the free Camila Cabello campaign.
I love that campaign.
She's
You
free.
know, she's free. She got to release her record and whatnot.
Yeah.
Salute to that queen.
Still
But yeah,
saluting that queen. Still saluting that queen.
there was a lot going on, and it's just, to me, it just reeks of it reeks of like,
Entitlement.
just nah, like my homie, my shout out to my Jamaican homie. They call it what they call them, Bati boys. What does
Oh
that mean?
Lord. Oh shit.
What does that mean?
I'm not going to be the one to even jump in. I need to call Chet Hanks, get him on the phone. I think
What
he
does
knows
that mean though?
about this.
Chet X will really break it down.
I don't know what that means. I'm
It's
literally
kind of
asking.
like what Pusha said to Kanye in the article that he doesn't look at him as a man. That kind of way. I
Oh,
think that's the
it's
way to look
just
at it.
it's unbecoming behavior.
Yeah,
Um,
it's not man. It's not a man like behavior of like
yeah, and
what
so
men do. Yeah.
to me, for like, okay, the Clipse album was supposed to come out. Not, it was supposed to come out. It was also, the Clipse album was supposed to
Last
be out.
year.
It was
Yeah.
supposed to be out, yeah. And I guess there was an intent to hold that up because of the verse and the quote unquote click up. But it's like, bro, the verse been done.
No, but
And
it's insane that it wasn't. It did happen. It was this ultimate holdup, and it didn't go out to the masses, and there's a secret thing going on, at least enough that no one went on the record and said it. But it's in. I mean, I get the part you're saying, like the lyrics, Pop Smoke thing, or even the Maybach music. I think they wanted that verse changed, but it's a difference of like we literally not going to put this album out unless you change Kendrick, another fellow biggest rapper's
Okay.
verse. Like that's insane. And then the even get thing of like, well, we'll just get you off the label. You can buy yourself out. It's like it's that extreme. Like that's insane. You know,
yeah, and I see Def Jam taking a lot of heat for this, but this is not a Def Jam thing. In
above
my
their
in
pay
my
grade,
in,
right?
in my humble opinion, I
Yeah.
know some of the people over there, and I'm not saying that I spoke to them, but
No, that's a
this
great
is
point. That's a great point.
this
That's a
is
great point, Head.
definitely more of a UMG thing than it is a Def Jam thing, in my humble opinion.
And Jeremy, you can co-sign that because you love reporting. Pusha actually names a legal person from Universal's name by name in an article that was one bringing this. So clearly, it's a UMG thing above Def Jam, above the pay grade. That's a great point, Head. That you can take fault and say bad Def Jam, but it's all Universal Music Group, and it's really the big upper power people that were like trying to like navigate through this, I guess, post Drake Kendrick.
Also, I
Gotcha.
mean, from a UMG perspective, I can understand, like, we're in litigations with this person. I don't want to do anything to further, agitate the situation, et cetera, right? Um, but at the same time, they've put out a lot of music in which agitative have been very agitative to a
Yeah,
lot of
I mean
different people.
they put out Drake Party Next Door album, right? That's part with the Sony label. Drake is taking shots, right, on what Give Me a Hug and records like that, or at least addressing things. So he addressed things. It's not like everybody's in a vacuum now and not rapping about what happened. Like it exists. You can say things that Drake said on Party's album, like on Give Me a Hug or records, or references to those things. Why can't Kendrick reference it? That maybe that's not a direct diss, like as far as what we've heard, you know.
And also, they didn't just want, they wanted a lot of things changed.
Okay. New
What is
reporting.
what is
Okay.
what is a lot of things?
That's all I'm at liberty to say.
Okay.
They wanted a lot of things changed, and Push wasn't going for it at
Hmm.
all on no level,
So you say
which is
you
why
saying the co-
as you saw what happened, like they went ahead and just bought themselves. Well, it's like, hey, I'm gonna buy myself out the deal, whatever. Um, Also, fun fact, a lot of people tried to make it about the Kendrick verse. To be fair, um, shout out to Push and the whole team, but to be fair, it is my belief that the album, according to what I've learned, the album was being shopped without the Kendrick verse.
Mm,
Post UMG, right? Post the Def Jam,
hmm.
the album was being shopped without the Kendrick verse because it's
Yeah.
like pushes on some like, yo, we not just a Kendrick verse. Like
Mm.
we're a elite
Hmm.
rap duo, et cetera, et cetera. So the record was being shopped without the Kendrick verse. And shout out to S. Carter. It's like, I'll take it with or without the Kendrick verse.
No, I'll take it with a
Eh,
Kendrick verse.
Yeah, but
That
the
that
deal was
meaning,
done. The deal with the Rock Nation thing came together in what, 24 hours, 48 hours, something like that.
Yeah.
but meaning like they were going to labels. They did still have the Kendrick verse, but when they went to labels, they were hiding their cards and kind of being
It
like,
wasn't necessarily hiding the cards. It was more just like, we don't need this in order to do what we do.
got it.
And so Push had a
Yeah.
point to prove, like, all right, I'm gonna buy. All right, what y'all need? 7 figures? Bet. Here y'all go. Let us
Which is
get her.
insane. Yeah.
Crazy, right? So
That's
shout out to
insane.
Mustard. Mustard did the same thing too. Mustard bought himself out of his deal, I think last year or year before last. Anyway,
Mm.
that's a common thing. You get your weight up and you buy yourself, you buy your freedom back, whatever. So when they got the record out, I mean, when he bought him and the Clipse, because Pusha T's also a solo artist, right?
Yep.
So he
Yep.
bought his freedom and his brother's freedom. When they went ahead and did that, they were shopping the album without the Kendrick verse on it. Like, hey, here go an album, here's a track list, here's the songs, etc. And I guess
But wait, but
I don't.
doesn't that not add up if you were going to remove the Kendrick verse? Why would you leave UMG then if you were going to take the record off?
I'm just saying, it's like, here you have the option to take the bigger picture with or without Elliott Wilson. We still want the
Hey.
product. I'm just, I'm just, I
Elliott
just
got cut.
And now featuring Fraser Tharp.
I'm just, I'm just saying, it's just a product. It's just a product with or without it. And then, the Rock Nation deal came together fairly quickly. Like, to my knowledge, it came together less than 36 hours.
Yeah, this is what Stephen Victor had talked about. So Push did the interview with GQ, and then Stephen Victor did an interview, I believe it was with Billboard, where he was actually talking about the specifics of the deal. And they said, how quickly were you able to get another deal in place? He said it happened simultaneously. It took a couple of weeks for us to figure out the paperwork. Again, it was a lot of money. We kept on going back and saying, can we pay you this amount of money and a part of the profit? Can we figure out a deal when we pay you as the guys make money from the new release instead of coming up with this large sum of money right now? They said no. They were like, we want our money and we want some of the profits, meaning from the new album. Once I knew that we had once I knew that we had, in principle, a deal in place with Def Jam to leave, I got on the phone with Jay-Z. I was like, look, this is what's happening. We've been talking about doing XYZ together. There's an opportunity here. Let's do this album. What do you think? He hit me back right away, like, you just made my day. Let's figure it out. What do we need to get it done? Listen, Jay's gonna give us a very artist-friendly deal. He told Pusha, we get to own the masters and they'll put the marketing power of Rock Nation behind it. You guys are friends. It's a great outcome. We worked out a deal in less than 24 hours, which is pretty crazy to think about. So they paid 7 figures, he said, to get out of this deal, go to Rock Nation. And I think I was looking up, shout out to Z on Twitter. He kind of broke down a little bit of what the deal structure looks like at Rock Nation a lot of the times. And it's like a distribution company to some degree where, they own it for a certain amount of time. They do certain splits, but you technically own the music, own the masters still. So it's
Yeah,
artist
so to be
business.
clear, this is a distro deal. It's not, they're not signed to Rock Nation. They're not managed by Rock Nation. They're not signed to Jay-Z. I just see a lot of misreporting,
Mm.
disinformation. That's not what this is, a distribution deal. So they came together, they do a deal to distribute and promote and market this specific album. The Clipse and Clipse and Co. Right? They still own the master, they own the music, etc. And usually typical distribution deals in this way, the rights and the licenses and all that stuff reverts back to the artist after a certain period of time. Um, because I just see a lot of people saying, "Oh shit, push Jay-Z signed Pusha T, and now it's a conspiracy." It's like, bro, shut the fuck up, bro. It's so many people who don't participate in the music industry, like just saying whatever, and it's just like that's not how this works.
Well, to me, there's two things. I think that Roc Nation has developed a reputation that they step in when artists like Little Uzi Vert, Megan Thee Stallion, in this case, Clipse, have a conflict with a label and empower the artists, right? Partner with the artists in whatever way and empower them. But I think that, you're gonna look at it like, I'm sure Drake doesn't love that a Clipse album is coming out through Roc Nation. I'm sure he doesn't love that Kendrick and Pusha T are on a song together. And even if it isn't a diss towards him, I'm sure he could receive it that way. So I can see why people want to stir it up. But I still think that, Jay's always been a man of integrity. And like the bottom line is like, I don't think you should be shopping it without the Kendrick verse. You should stick to your artistic vision and not compromise. And it's art. And Jay's always supported that. And I think he's in a position to empower them in ways that probably other labels weren't offering.
Yeah, and they clearly have a musical relationship too over the course of time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if there was a J verse on this, but seeing how the business went down, I feel like it wouldn't have been on there prior to. But maybe there's one that exists
He's
now.
he said in the he said in the GQ that I think we've had a lot of great moments or something like that, but I think it's better that we're in business is more
Yeah.
of a statement. So it seems like we're not going to get a whole verse, but then you never know, midnight hour, you never know. I'm sure if Hove gets inspired and the album's about to get turned in officially, would they not add it? I mean, hopefully. So yeah, I'm still gonna keep my fingers crossed. You never know.
You wouldn't turn it down.
I'm
And
gonna turn it down.
shout out to Rob Markman. He did probably say he had heard, he waited till this happened, but he did say that he heard the Kendrick verse and he said it was more of
Look
a
at that. Look at that. Had have
yeah.
you heard the Kendrick verse?
Well, that's what I was about to ask. He said it was a State of the Union where Kendrick was more like talking about watch the party die vibes, where it's like, here's where I'm at, here's what just happened in this whole back and forth, here's what the state of hip hop looks like. Head, I know now that it's public information, there is a Kendrick verse. Have you heard the verse in full?
That's the question again.
No, you know the question. You're allowed to say now.
What's
If
it-
you've heard,
Ask
you
the
don't have to say
question
anything about it.
again.
Have you heard the
How do you
Kendrick verse?
you telling
No,
why is he telling a black man what he's allowed to do? You're allowed to.
that's just what the Canadians do sometimes. But go ahead.
Oh, okay. All right. We're gonna go there.
No, no,
Country in.
I have no information for you.
Okay. All
So
right.
so what's your guys' theory that this is another power move that Jay-Z's done that Drake's not gonna like? So that speaks to, is there some unspoken Hove Drake tension that people like, speculation? What do you guys think about that?
What did he say on 30 for 30 freestyle? He said like when all the powers are coming together as a collective they want to see me end my run and send me the message or something. And then he said, fuck it, I ain't get the message.
Foreshadowing.
The crazy foreshadowing, let me pull up his Instagram because there's a theory on Churchill Down, which was 2022. A lot of
Mm,
people thought that there was subs towards Pusha and Kendrick on that song. And at that
okay.
time, though, in 2022, you weren't really sure if this was like reflecting on the story of Adidon stuff or like kind of subbing Kendrick in a way. But James Francis, he posed this theory where if you look at the Churchill Down lyrics, he
Hmm.
takes shots at Pusha and Kendrick within 2 bars. And I actually don't necessarily believe this timeline because I wouldn't have thought that the Clipse would have had a Kendrick feature if what Rob says is true and Kendrick's talking about the State of the Union, they wouldn't have
Mhm.
necessarily been together. But it's interesting when you look back at all of these bars and you're like, has all of this cross tension just been coexisting and like
Brewing,
all the
brewing, brewing.
brewing and like the subs toward Jay, they're subliminal back and forth, but there's bars on Churchill down where he said, all I hear is okay, this whole thing. So praying on my downfall don't make you religious, man. You know, obviously that could be like a Clipse reference as well. All I hear is plug top coming from Middleman, a clear Pusha T drug reference. All I hear is tall tales coming from Littleman. We know a lot of the shots were clearly towards Kendrick about his height during the battle. Which, when I say bitch, I'm very damn. When I say bitch, I'm very rarely referring to women. Most of the bitches I know are dudes. They not even women. But that whole verse, it kind of feels like he was throwing Pusha shots and Kendrick shots. So I think in Drake's mind now, when he sees this, he's like, well, they're clicking up, and then now they're with Jay, and me and Jay have had issues, and I think this adds to the paranoia that existed. This is 616 in LA all over again.
Yeah. So let me just go to Europe and party with party and do some more dates, add more dates.
Two things I said. One, on the Rory and Maul podcast, I said, when you're a shitty person, it doesn't matter what you've done with people, for people. When you're a shitty person, whether it's on screen or off screen, all that doesn't matter. Second thing I said, if you go back to a previous episode of the Bigger Picture, Jeremy Hecht, what did you just say right now before I started talking?
That his optics looks like in his head that all these people are moving against him.
Yeah, but what was the last thing you said?
Uh,
I don't listen to Jeremy. I don't know.
something about like so that's what the optics look like. They're all clicking up with Jay, and there's been subliminals throughout time. What else did I
Tell him what
say?
he said. Tell him what he said, Head.
Man, listen, if you go back to previous episodes of the Bigger Picture, I
Love that show.
literally, you fuck with that show? I fuck with that
Fuck
show.
with that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I literally
That
talked
head,
about this, bro.
Elliott guy could be canceled. Elliott guy could go. Frazier's, he can fill in.
I literally talked about this. It's not paranoia. It's not that deep, bro. Just be a good person. Just be a good
Well,
just be a good human. It's not difficult. So when you see, because you're not the first person to say this to, like, people have said this to me to my face, right? Oh, these dudes is clicking up. Da, 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 da. It's like, or did you offend these
Yeah.
niggas in some capacity? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is like? I don't understand this shit. It's not that deep. It's really not that deep.
well, it's interesting because you actually did say
The
on
first
previous episodes
episode,
of the Bigger Picture.
the
You,
first episode, I said this.
Yeah, the first episode, but then multiple episodes after that, you alluded to knowing things that the boy has done behind the scenes that
Yes,
you're aware of that make you view things differently, whether
yes.
that be his character or understanding why certain people are moving certain ways against him. And then it's funny that, not to say this is one of those things, but this could be one of those things where like it's like the behind the scenes, like trying to get people to remove verses, trying to have censorship, trying to like, and this isn't necessarily even Drake being the one to say like, hey, Pusha, you can't. This is a Universal thing. So Universal deserves the discredit on this as well. But it all stems from this lawsuit,
I'll do
which
you
is
one better, Jeremy Hick. Asking someone for requesting someone's lyrics before your parent company agrees to drop their project with their freedom of speech and art on it, it's not even close to the level of disrespectful that certain people have been behind the scenes.
Hmm. So
so this is my word.
do you guys look at the current lawsuit against UMG besides whatever business thing he's trying to angle as also him being mad that he felt when Not Like Us took off, he lost that position where he felt like he had authority that he can make these sort of things happen behind the scenes. And then now all of a sudden it feels like Kendrick took that from him also, that he's not this powerful force behind the scenes the way Kendrick could be right now, UMG system. Is that fair to say?
I'll comment on that uh around August.
Damn. Okay. Jesus Christ, this is a great
That's
show.
close. That's closer than usual. That's around the corner. That's only a couple
I'll
months away.
comment on this in August. Oh my God. This show
Just
is
save,
insane.
just somebody save the clip and just remind me in August to comment on that.
I feel like that's how you respond in like a text to a woman too. Like, hey, like, how do you feel? Like, what do you really think of me? I'll comment around September about that. I'll get back to you.
What do you
Okay,
think, Jeremy? Before we take it back, what do you think of it, of the idea that like Not Like Us lawsuit, Not Like Us drama, the current lawsuit is just also him unraveling at the fact that it looks like he doesn't have that same power and pull that he could make things happen and they're favoring Kendrick over him in that system.
Well, that's why I wanted to take it back to where I think he continued to flex his authority within the building on some of
Yeah.
those verses. But what I will say about Not Like Us is I think somebody made a great point. I think I saw this in a tweet where they were talking about like why Kendrick has been so loud and like, quote unquote stomping on the grave. Is this isn't just towards Drake. Like the Not Like Us thing isn't just a specifically you. This is a systemic thing of like the label, the powers that be, Drake, all these people who are saying you can't say this, you can't do this, you can't talk about
Mhm.
this, you can't have a feature on this album. I think Drake is aware of all of these things because he's a part of it. And his victory lap tour, like, no, fuck that. I'm going to the Grammys. Fuck that. We're doing it every night on a stadium tour. Fuck that. I'm going to do whatever I want, say whatever I want. There's not a single soul or person in music or beyond who can tell me what to do. And so I think Kendrick's victory parade is actually against the system saying fuck everybody. And
I think you have
Watch
a
the party
point.
die. That we'll revisit further in August.
in August. The other thing also I thought was interesting on Whacked Out Murals. Now, I don't necessarily know if I believe this, but I do understand why people have this thought now is that he has censored bars in Whacked Out Murals, right? There's that one line that we still don't know what he says. He kind of censors Diddy's name allegedly, where he says, blank is on trial, but all y'all on trial too. But then there's that other part that people speculate, like, is it about Cole? Is it about Kendrick? Is it about somebody? And that's censored. I wonder if there is correlation to either the label saying something, or in my opinion, it's more likely that Kendrick is just making a funny reference to like, oh, they're trying to censor me. So here, I'll give you a censored bar because you guys don't know, but they're actually trying to take my verse off of Push's album.
Oh, jeez. Didn't know he was going there, trying to tie it all together.
Yeah. I was trying to, but what I was going to show is, this is when Drake was able to flex his muscle and do whatever he wants. And I remember Pusha kind of putting it out there too and being like, what are we doing now? Now, granted, I didn't necessarily think a Pop Smoke verse was, the time or place for a Drake diss, but you can do whatever you want with your artistic freedom, and for somebody to censor it, I think is the wrong move. So this was like Thug, and he said back in the day, I don't respect the Pusha T verse on the song with me and Gunna because I don't have none to do with y'all beef, nor does Gunna. And if I knew that was about him, I would make changes on our behalf. So this rapper shit is so gay. I don't. Okay, first of all, so much has happened. If we look at like what time period this was, and then Thug and Gunna on a song together in itself is interesting. But then Push responded and say, "Don't feel bad. Nobody knew what the verse was about. The label heads that stopped it didn't even know. They only assumed because Drake told them. The same way he told about my Ross Maybach 6 verse." So to Head's verse, or to Head's point, he was requesting verses ahead of time to see the lyrics, which they do get. The amount of times that Drake is subliminally shooting at people and no one knows but the artists themselves. Can you imagine if they were all getting those lyrics ahead of time? Like, all right, Drake, we're just going to make sure we're sending this to Ye. We're going to send this to me. We're going to send this to Push. We're going to send this to Kendrick. Just make sure there's no problem with this song. Like, the hypocrisy, I think, is.
Well, speaking of Ye though, to go get off this for a second, go a different direction. I was surprised again that Pusha so adamantly took a stance against Kanye. You know, despite all the craziness, I know Jeremy, you canceled him every other week and brought him back and canceled him again. I was surprised that Pusha's now pretty much broken up with it. Like he's tired of the foolishness. He wanted to get out of that crazy world, and he just so adamantly like took this stance against him. I'm surprised he did that, like in that way. But I'm glad
Why?
he did. Because I just think that he was such a loyal soldier to him, and I think that he was. I think they had a great partnership in terms of just the music part of it. And yeah, I just didn't think it's one thing to separate yourself, but it's another thing to be comfortable being critical of somebody who you was riding with for a long time, who did give you your masters back, right? I'm not saying he's wrong for it because obviously homeboy's craziness has no bounds. But again, yeah, I mean, I guess with Push's character, it doesn't surprise me, right? Because he's always been a man of integrity and telling his truth. But it just jumped at me crazy where it's just like, wow, he's taking a stance and comfortable telling the world every detail about it where he feels that, he's not a man. Like that quote is just like piercing. That shit is crazy. And talking about the biggest thing was that he feels disappointed that he told him, like there was a key thing in one of Fraser's articles, like the outtakes, that he lost respect for Kanye trying to be so much, empowered by Louis Vuitton and not taking a Virgil or Don, the guys around him, and building his own movement. And he was a truth teller to him and challenged him in ways that, he later regretted. So I don't know. I just thought it was very interesting that he took such a hard stance and was comfortable knowing that people are going to go crazy with the quotes when it goes out and like give you the raw truth about how I feel about dude. No big
Yeah,
deal to you
well,
guys.
no, no, no. So I thought it was interesting because I recently rewatched. I've just been going back in the vault to like the Drake Pusha time period because I wanted to see how people were receiving that battle at the time. And I rewatched Push did his interview with Joe Budden at the time,
Oh yeah,
and
classic.
hearing it is a classic, and hearing him speak, it's so interesting to think about his mindset because at that time, Push is basically saying like he's not allowed in the studio when Drake's in the studio. Drake comes into
Mhm.
town, he's like everybody's allowed in the studio except I can't be there. And so there's two ways of looking at that. Like Pusha being like, loyal, right? Like integrity and holding down good music no matter what he feels about Kanye because he does say, that's not how I operate. He's like, that's not how I move. He's like, if we're going and we're going to get into a fight at the mall and you can't join the fight, stay at home. He's like, I don't operate on wishy-washy shit. Like he's very like adamant. But the way I view it is Push is the type of guy, and I do think this is possible where you're like, you can clock people and move
Mhm.
accordingly. It's like he
Yeah.
still had benefit in that
So yeah,
system.
he clocked Kanye with class back then. He doesn't clock him that
Yes.
way now because it's
A
over. Yeah,
classy
yeah,
clock, and he's like, I
yeah.
see you. Okay, that's the way you're moving, dude. Fine. I got some shit to finish here. I got some business with good music. I'm still the president. I still have albums I want to drop. Cool. You do your thing. Cool. If you want to give me some beats, I'll take them too. But at some point, I can't handle this. And I think maybe these last couple years were just his last straw of like, that's it for me. Like he literally said
Yeah.
to your point, the quote is, he knows I don't think he's a man. He knows
Mm.
it, and that's why we can't build with each other no more. That's why me and him don't click because he
Oof.
knows what I really, really think of him. He showed me the weakest sides of him, and he knows how I think of weak people. He also says that, like, he basically
He
said,
sounds like DJ Head.
it's like cryptic but very telling. And he also said like Kanye's intuition is genius level and it's so high that he knows I can't be like he's like even if I try to be fake around him,
He knows I don't
Kanye
respect him.
knows I'm
I've lost.
being
Yeah,
fake.
yeah, yeah.
So
He
it's
he
like
knows that I've lost respect for him. I can't hide it. He sees it in my face. He knows I don't
yeah,
respect him anymore. And that's powerful. It's powerful.
yeah.
What
The
did you think of that quote from Pusha, DJ Head? What did you think of that quote about Kanye?
I've been I mean, well, about Ye, I look at it the same way, but I mean, I kind of this hmm, from a temperament standpoint, I look at both of them as similar, which is probably why they don't get along very well for very long. Because megalomania is a thing, main character syndrome, all the things, right? Everything's about me when most of the time it's not about you. Conspiracy, everybody's out to get me. I'm the greatest. The only difference is Yeah, he does it out loud, and Boy doesn't do it out loud like that. He does it in back channel DMs, courtrooms, and shit like that. You know what I mean?
About Drake in this case, not Pusha. But what do you make of Pusha being to say that like to directly about him in that way?
Oh, I mean, I agree. Like, I think I don't have anything. I don't have any problems with what Push said. I think Push is just in the things that he said. That's his experience. That's probably a shared experience amongst multiple people.
Yeah.
Uh, and I just I don't. There isn't too many things that I disagree with Pusha T on. Just just on the based on the lineage that he comes from and the environments and the people that I came up around. He
Mm,
literally reminds me of most of the people that I came up around.
mm. Community leaders.
All the community leaders. He definitely reminds me of those guys.
Yeah, well, shout to Clipse. We'll get that new what's
So
his
Jeremy,
name
how many
record.
more classy white metaphors of cocaine do you expect on this album?
Okay,
And William.
over under is 15. Over under is 15. I'm going over.
And you love
I,
that white. More white.
like, there's just like the Lady Gaga one's good. It's been called Miley Cyrus. It's been called Justin Bieber. Sometimes you get a little Justin Bieber, sometimes you get Katy Perry. Just any white pop star can be referred to as white, which is nice.
Speaking
Well
of
played.
Finally,
Miley Cyrus,
Uh-oh.
what's that?
I said, speaking of Miley Cyrus,
Interesting transition.
do you have anything about you have any Miley Cyrus news?
Uh-oh.
Specifically, like right now, Miley Cyrus about her new
Yes.
album.
When it do you have any information about it, Jeremy Hecht?
You were
I
holding out
don't
a
have
Miley Cyrus info?
I don't have any inside information. I wish that I did now. Now it feels like there's something that I'm missing
Do
out
you
on.
I think DJ Head has some information, some intel. Is she back with Mike Will Made It? Is magic
Can you share
happening?
some info?
Don't tell me she's back with Mike Will Made It.
I was transitioning into the Lil Wayne thing, bro.
Oh, there we go. Love it. You know
Oh, that
why?
was
You know why, DJ Head? Because he needs as much help as he can. Because that album ain't got no buzz, buddy. No buzz. I'm
damn. Why are
sorry.
you
Interesting.
I'm
dancing on
sorry.
it?
It's a
I'm
lot of
sorry.
interesting things going on right now, bro.
Have you heard the new Lil Wayne album that's dropping tonight at the time we're taping this?
No.
Okay. But you're excited about this Miley Cyrus collaboration on the Carter
What I
6?
what I what I do know based on um various information is that this week the album's up until this week the album's still being worked on.
Sounds like Lil Wayne. I love it.
Um it's kind of coming together at the last minute. I know the track list just quote unquote got leaked.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a
Um
Miley Cyrus song on it on the
I
track
know.
list.
So it's
So
probably not going to drop at midnight right now. This could change right here is what you're saying at the time
yeah,
we're
is this
taping this
likely?
Thursday.
Like I haven't heard anyone say anything that feels to me like the album's actually coming out, but I don't know.
Curated by Wyclef Jean is nuts. Wow. Crazy. Who knew? Who knew?
Shout out to Wyclef. Oh, there's a
Carnival
gotta
man.
verse.
He's gonna redeem himself for you,
Gotta
Jeremy.
gotta has a verse.
Yo, what if he disses you
Back.
on it? What if he disses you on it, Jeremy? You catch a
What do you
stray.
think? What do you think he's gonna say?
Squad down, heck down. Respect the lyrics. Da, 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 da. You gonna fire back at him if he disses you on the record?
I would just bask in that. We got the greatest bar of all time about grocery bags, and I'm mentioned by one of the great lyricists of our time in the same sentence. Come on.
Squad,
Uh,
squad down. Squad down.
So to my knowledge, um this is the track list.
Pinky
Uh
ring.
I think that they're trying to see what's up with this Miley Cyrus record because Wayne is featured on her record, I believe. I think it's called Blood Overall or something like that.
So Molly's the holdup. We
What's
waiting
the
for
name of the
Molly.
what's the name of the Miley Cyrus record?
Pinky ring. It says
No,
pinky ring. No.
she dropped a record.
Oh, her record.
Let me see.
They did a
What,
I
swap.
don't think he's not on her new one though, is he?
what's the name of the record, Jeremy Hecht?
Something beautiful.
It came out in March.
You guys are battling research.
Uh, like a new Miley Cyrus song with Lil Wayne.
Oh no, she's on the album.
Yeah, she's on his new album.
Yeah, the same Pinky Ring is a song she's rumored on. Pinky Ring.
Okay.
That's the
Did you?
Yeah, I don't know the name of the. I don't. There supposedly there's two records.
Okay.
But I don't know the name of the record. Uh, have you heard anything about the Cash Money tour?
Uh-oh. What happened now?
No. What happened to the Cash Money tour?
I'm just asking. Have you heard anything about it?
No,
Where's this going? I
haven't. Have you?
So Wayne just announced his own tour.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's playing in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, with Tyga and I think Belly Cushington. Didn't
Let me
Wayne
look
just
it up
announce
right now.
his own
Yeah,
Wayne
yeah,
just
he did. Yeah,
so
pull it up right
yeah, put it up on the screen real quick.
now. So here is the tour dates with Tyga and Belly Gang Cushington. Yes.
And no
Okay.
cap on some select dates. No cap.
I heard that this was supposed to be a Wayne and Sexy Red tour.
Okay.
That would have been cool.
But I don't know that went through for whatever reason. The reason why I brought up the Cash Money tour is like he just announced his North American tour, but wasn't the Cash Money tour thing? And then I think the last 4 dates are no longer.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought they had got all their dates done. You said some might have been canceled. He might have did a full shift into Lil Wayne mode.
You
I
said
did
that
see people
they
talk
did all the
about-
dates?
I know. I thought they had. I'm not sure. They did early. They did how many dates this year? Probably about 6 to 8 dates already. But I didn't know if that was it. You're saying he had more and they scrapped it and he went in this direction.
That's what I heard.
I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. He gave, I love Beatrice, but he gave enough.
Is it a Young Money thing for people not to finish their tours?
Ooh.
No, I'm just wondering.
Look at the Canadian.
It happens. It happens. But no, I do think people were pointing out the only thing I really saw about this, besides people excited to see Wayne, was they were pointing out that there's no New Orleans date on this specific tour. I do think he probably is planning to do, maybe he'll do like Louisiana Fest again in a bigger capacity. But I do think that was like a notable thing that people did want to obviously see him in the hometown.
Wow, he's playing the Garden tomorrow night, Jeremy. You might have to stay. He's playing the Garden tomorrow, June 6th, tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. Oh, literally when his album drops in the Garden. That's actually kind of legendary.
Yeah, it seems like the tour doesn't really start till July 30th. Then it goes daily, pretty much.
So tomorrow's probably the album release show.
So there's no concern. It doesn't seem like there's like a buzz on Wayne's album. You think Wayne will still do decent numbers because he's Lil Wayne, or does it matter what his first week numbers are? Like,
I don't necessarily know, bro. Jeremy Heck, go pull up the venues.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Just pull up any one of the. Just pull up like 3 or 4 of the venues.
Okay, I'm on Live Nation here. So we have.
Are you trying to prove something, DJ Hed?
No.
Okay, so
you asked the
MSG.
question. No, not Madison Square. Just go, keep going to like.
No, that's the same. That's the same kind of routing where he does like the alternate cities. They're big venues, but like the PMC in Hallandale, Jersey, he does that. Like it seems like the regular spots he always does.
Go down.
Boardwalk Hall, Theater, Art Center.
Go down.
So, Budweiser's stage in Toronto is like kind of like an outdoor vibe.
Yeah.
It's not, a stadium, but it's a decent sized venue there.
Yeah, it's an arena. It's an arena tour. So look at
Is
the
it?
arena. Yeah, Little Caesars Arena. Yeah, Little Caesars.
Oh yeah,
Arena.
the amphitheater.
Marcus
No, the
Center.
amphitheater aren't amphitheaters bigger than bigger than arenas?
No, I think they're
Amphitheaters
smaller.
they're a little smaller, but they usually have decent sized
Okay,
crowds.
got
Yeah,
it.
he's a theater act. Yeah, he's doing theaters. But it seems like a lot of the same markets he's been before. He's routed this a lot.
He's
I
doing
think he
crypto,
started.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, amphitheaters. So here's the thing: Wayne is a legacy act, right? The reason why I had to look at the venues is because you asked in correlation to sales and all that. I look at this. This is how I look at how someone's doing. It's
Yeah.
asses and seats.
So do you think that people have to receive the Carter Six and really love the album for them to put their ass in the seat, or is he such a legacy act? I
No,
still just want to see Lil Wayne. It doesn't really matter. Like
it don't
if he
matter.
got one or two good songs off the new album, that's fine with the set
He
list.
gonna
But
yeah. If
I'm
he
coming to
got
see
one
the
or two,
classics. Yeah,
if he
yeah,
got one or two records off this new album, he good to go. It don't matter
yeah,
because people
yeah.
gonna go. People pulling up to see Lil Wayne. It don't matter, bro. That's why I'm saying like when people are like, "Oh, what's the speculation? First week numbers?" And bro, look at the tour routing. That's gonna tell you everything you. That's gonna tell you everything you need to know. All this shit says is it says crypto arena, amphitheater, pavilion.
Okay.
Look up the Dos Equis pavilion and see what that cap room is, Jeremy Heck.
But here's the thing, Head, though, you can look at it the other way. Let's say he drops an outstanding album and like a Kendrick Lamar,
3,000.
where even though he's viewed as a legacy actor, a record acted already has history, maybe he can reignite and sell these tickets and be more than a legacy act and sell these tickets more rapidly
What
and
I'm
have his
saying
moment.
is,
Yeah.
you're right. You're right. But what I'm saying is, nobody cares, bro. It's Lil Wayne. You know what I'm saying?
He's
Like
got nothing to lose.
if you going to see Lil Wayne, you going to see Lil Wayne anyway. It don't matter about the projections of it, how good the Carter is going to do and what records and all that. Now, to compete in modern day times, it needs to
In the,
perform. It needs to
yes, in
perform.
the
But what I'm
dot era.
saying is, but what I'm saying is, to people who are going to go see Lil Wayne at the Dos Equis Theater is going whether they like the new Carter or not.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what
it's
I'm saying?
almost irrelevant, especially because like it's the tour celebrating 20 plus years of Carter Classic. That's like how it's framed. So I don't think
Mhm.
they're going I don't actually think anyone would go wanting to hear the whole new album. But I think
No.
that's also
What
the
what
difference between someone who's currently competing for that spot and for the crown and somebody who has had the crown and doesn't need to prove anything. Like Kendrick just did a tour or still on tour right now. He called it the GNX tour. He's performing. Head, how many GNX songs does he do on that tour?
Shit,
Like,
he doing at least six of them. Four.
so
everything but the
he
title everything but the title track. He doesn't do the
He did Man at the
I'm loving
Garden.
it.
He doing like, yeah, he
Yeah.
doing the records on the
Yeah.
album.
and I think that's somebody who's currently competing, has the crown, and is showcasing that he's still performing at the highest level. Kendrick could do a stadium tour as a legacy act, technically. Like he has enough
Bro,
hit
look what he did
catalog.
at the Super Bowl.
So, but he's able to do it currently. Now, Lil Wayne, he could drop a project where it's like, this is game changing. Wayne is now back in the spot. Like he's competing. He really wants it. This is the best music of his career. It just doesn't seem like he wants to do that or needs to do that at all.
Bro, the new Carter don't matter, bro.
Yeah.
People want to hear it. Not like that. I'm just
I
saying
thought you
people
were sad about Molly. I thought you wanted to know if him and Molly got a slap. Molly
no. I'm saying
Cyrus.
no, I know that. But my thing is, from what I heard, is they're trying to leverage that record to see if it's going to chart and perform and whatnot because the numbers and whatnot because they're trying to
Yeah.
get the numbers to matter. What I'm saying to Lil Wayne and Co is the numbers don't matter. What I'm saying to Jeremy Heck to answer his question is the numbers don't matter. How well the album performs don't fucking matter. It's Lil Wayne, bro. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like at the end of the day, it's one of the greatest rappers of all time. His name is Lil Wayne. You know what I'm saying? Dwayne, like
Carter.
Carter, and it don't matter. So the expectation, mitigate your expectation on first week numbers, mitigate your expectation on what the album's gonna sound like. People gonna probably feel the same way they felt about the Snoop album, and then Snoop double backed on your ass. You know what I'm saying? Like I think because it's different. Like if you pull up that track list, you got what Miley Cyrus on there. You got I saw Warren G on there.
Yeah.
Like I
Orange.
remember I told y'all about that record like months ago. Um, who else is on there? Wyclef
MGK. Great.
Jean, Miss MGK isn't like Elephant Man. Like, bro,
Yeah, but that's my point. That's
this
my
record
point.
is all over the place. Bro, Elephant Man and Playboy Cardi and Trippy Red and Wyclef Jean being on the same album is crazy.
The Sonics aren't gonna feel
You
cohesive.
know what I'm saying, bro? Like, Like,
I
come
think
on,
I think
dog.
I'm calling cap on this before we cap it up. I think it's this is clearly him going for a pop crossover huge moment. He's not here. He's selling the tours nostalgia. I get that, but if this track list is even half true, this is a pop power play crossover. Get a hit, catch the Molly one, whole new generation of white TikTok fans, and and them tickets sell more rapidly. I still think he's competing. I don't look at it like that. I think that this doesn't connect with that to me. Like it's a disconnect.
No,
I
no,
feel
no.
like
It's too. That's what I'm
this
trying
is
to
over
tell
the
you.
top. He's going for the over the top win at the same time.
No, but what
He's
I'm
doing
trying to
both
tell you,
things.
first of all, let's back up a little bit. I think the tour is a money play.
Absolutely.
That's a money play. The album is all over the place. If this is the track list,
Yes.
I'm
I don't want
operating.
to. I don't want to hear this album if this is track list.
If this is the track list, the album's all over the place. It's not sonically cohesive at first glance. Now he might find a creative way to glue it all together sonically. Cool. Greats do that. In my humble opinion, albums all over the place, tour is a money play. Two separate, isolated things that don't have nothing to do with each other.
It's fair.
I wanted to look at the Carter 4 track list. So this is more like, hip hop driven, right? You have Drake and Jadakiss and John Legend, Rick Ross, T-Pain, Tech Nine. The Carter 5 kind of look similar in some ways. It was a lot of songs. It had big pop hooks on a couple of them, big like R&B hooks. But Wayne was rapping. I do think that his bars have been at the top tier of anyone rapping over the last few years, and every time he steps on a feature, it's still Wayne to the highest degree. I would love to hear a project that I'm blown away by, but I always talk about expectations. My expectations are very low, and I also don't want to rate this in the same way that I'm rating somebody who I think is making an album for the moment that's going to capture everything and change the game and really like I'm just happy to hear Wayne rap again. Like I'm happy for the album. I'm happy to hear one of the greatest ever, if not the greatest to ever touch a microphone can do. I'm happy to hear him still active. I'm not judging it with much more than that. Like thank you, Wayne, if we get this album. And thank you, Miley, for coming back to hip hop. We're accepting her.
Oh
No,
God.
Get Miley back
no,
in.
no,
Go
no, we're
back
not.
over there.
Go back over there.
So I have a segue. Have you recovered from the brouhaha that the complex people started with this LA rappers list? And how do you feel? And no, here's what I want to know first, actually. You presented subliminally to the world, referred to a previous episode of The Bigger Picture, that you was approached about a list. And then very soon after, we feel like this was the list you wasn't talking about.
It
I need to
was.
know what did they require from you, DJ Head? What were they looking to get your input on with this list?
Well,
And
first of all,
how would you have played a role in this madness?
I fuck with Complex. I don't have any gripes with Complex as a brand, staff, record label, as a crew. I do know a couple people over there I have one person who's probably, dear to me at Complex, but other than that, it's just
Okay. Who's
everybody
that,
else.
Jeremy? Who's that, Jeremy? You got a booth thing? You
I
got
don't
a
know.
booth
It's
thing
not a
up at the
thing.
complex?
Everybody else's business. But yeah, I was approached with this list thing, and I told him respectfully, I don't want nothing to do with this shit.
But
I
what would have
want
been your role? What would have been your role in
didn't
the
care.
list?
Oh, you
So
need
what
to
did they
get
ask?
there.
I didn't care what my role was. I didn't want anything to do with it.
What was
And
the ask? What was the ask?
we didn't even get there, Elliott Wilson. We're doing a list about I don't want nothing to do with it. We're doing a list about LA. I don't want nothing to do with no lists.
Maybe they just wanted to hear you have your like just take a look at it real quick.
Even just weighing in on it. I told him I didn't want nothing to do with it. Oh, can we just
But
do some No, I don't want nothing to do with it.
so, but you think that they incorporated views from West Coast people of authority, or was it just an internal staff
It was an
decision of what
internal
was done?
staff thing, which is why I didn't want nothing to do with it.
So you think they just wanted to kind of get a feel of how people it would be perceived by
They
giving
wanted the Coast Guard
had a little
co-sign.
the little Coast Guard sneak peek to take the temperature of how people are going to receive this list.
It didn't
They
matter.
wanted to use Head for like, hey, we passed it by DJ Hed and it's approved as the list. Exactly what LA
Not
feels.
gonna happen, bro. I don't want to. I hate these things because to me, it's clickbait. It's divisive, and most of the time, there's a guy that's been reaching out to me to do something, to do some content, and well, not to me, but I heard from my team. There's a person who worked on this list who's been reaching out to my team to try to do some content and I don't want nothing to do with it, bro. Like, you're not from here, you're not even really from this country. You know what I'm saying?
This
And
wasn't me, by the way.
no, not you.
I ain't even from around here.
Everything ain't about you, Canadian.
I'm just clearing my name.
How do I run it down here? I ain't even from
I just
around here.
didn't, and
Right,
this is what I shared with someone from Complex. I shared that these things are meant to just do this, just drive conversation and kick up dust. And I said, why don't y'all do a New York list? Well, we did that already. All right, well, why don't y'all do a St. Louis list? Why fuck with us? Well,
Because we're in
LA,
that era.
exactly. It's just conversation and hype, and I'm just over it, bro. Like, I also, you see what it kicked up, like it kicks up all of this stuff for no
Here's the thing.
reason, and it just goes back to what I was saying about the Joey Badass thing. You like, a lot of this stuff makes it not fun. Not because, oh, he's being an old curmudgeon, he don't want to participate. No, it's just what happens is you do something intentionally to get a reaction. You got your reaction. Now that you got your reaction, how can we keep the conversation going? Because it's just conversation. And there's people sitting in the office that look like where Elliott Wilson is sitting right now, who don't
Making a
even
list right now.
who don't even fuck with us. You don't even fuck with us. So why fuck with us? You know what I'm saying? Like,
what if they said, what if they said, we want a West Coast Authority, DJ Hed, you make the list. I know you hate lists, but is that a way they should have went, where it's like we get a West Coast Authority person and that person makes the list, so we have some
No, because it's all
accountability?
opinion. No, it's all opinion. It don't have nothing to do with authority. I know, like, you got like Elliott Wilson, DJ Hed, say who won and who lost. You're an authority. No, it's all just opinion. Everything we do is opinion based. Nothing is facts. It's all just opinion. You have an opinion, I have an opinion, Complex got an opinion, the number one, number five, whatever, right? It's all opinion based. And then everybody gets in a room. I used to be a part of a thing called a music meeting at the radio station. Okay. We all get in a room and your boss plays you music of new artists, or, oh, this the new Jack Harlow. DJ Hed says, I fuck with it. The other dude who's pro-black and he says, get Jack Harlow out the culture, he says, I hate it. The other dude, the other girl from, promo department says, I like it. And then at that point, you weigh it and you be like, all right, you got 4 yeses and 1 no. All right, let's play the record. That's literally what we do. That's how this works. It's not. So to me, to have all this weight on it and like, oh, well, Complex said that Elliott Wilson's number 5 in media. That don't mean nothing. That don't really mean anything other than to the people it means something too. Regular life is happening outside. So when this list came up, I'm like, I don't want nothing to do with it. Not because I think the list is wrong or right or anything like that. I just don't want to do with it because there is no right answer. The right answer is your answer.
What did you think of it, Jeremy?
Well, what I will say is some things I'm like, you know what? This isn't my list to make, and this isn't my list to specifically comment on. What I was more interested in than like the people on the list, and Hed, this might be something you can at least clarify. What do we consider an LA rapper? Like, I know there's all these back and forths, like, did you have to grow up in LA? Did you have to claim LA? Did you have to live there for a certain amount of times? Is Long Beach, Vince Staples was a big convo, like Glasses had said. Like, obviously, when you live in LA, you don't consider Long Beach LA, but like, some people were saying he's left off a list. Like, is LA County? Like, can we at least define what it means to be an LA rapper for this convo? Like, specifically with like Tupac.
I don't want nothing to do with this shit, Jeremy Heck.
No, the answer is
Elliott
no,
Wilson,
Jeremy.
Elliott, let me ask you a question.
You want my top 10? I got it.
No. I don't want your list. Let me ask you a question.
I did a top 10.
I don't care. Let me ask you a question.
I want to be involved.
I want to hear it. I want to hear it later.
All right, well, go ahead. Go ahead.
No.
Let's
Go
get the
first.
conversation going.
You want no? Well, we can talk about game first. The game. I want to shout out the game because I can see somebody getting offended that he wasn't mentioned where he thought he should be mentioned. Right? It was a number 11, I think. But to make a whole 100 rapper list himself, the game is insane. I love him for it, man. That he did it. But Yeah, no, I just think that yeah, rambling off just to have fun. We want me to do reverse order or 1 to 10? You want to do 10 to 1 or 1 to 10?
Did you just you asked us if you want it in reverse or not?
Yeah,
Pause.
reverse order or 1 to 10. 1 to 10 or 10 to 1.
Count down from 10. That sounds more fun.
Okay, 10, I'm gonna go Nip Hustle. 9, I'm gonna go to Game. 8, I'm gonna go Easy E. 7, I'm gonna go DJ Quick. 6, I'm going Tyler. 5, I'm going Dre. 4, I'm going Cube. 3, I'm going Snoop. 2, I'm going with Pac. I do consider Tupac that because of the later records that he did, and I'm putting Kendrick at 1. But it's a damn near impossible to make a top 10 West Coast MC list. Like
It's
you know,
not West
it's just
Coast.
or whatever. LA list. I'm sorry, LA list. My bad. But that's the whole point too. You see that comment though. It's like, is Pac should be considered LA or is Long Beach this? Like, you're not commenting on that part of the logistics of neighborhoods and stuff. I guess it's still lumped into me as the idea of LA in a sense, or whatever that means, which doesn't have to be specific in my mind. I think people view all these guys as LA based rappers or LA rappers when they hear their music.
Am I from
Whether
LA?
that county wise. You were more LA than any of us, Mr. DJ Head. Yes, you
Where
are.
am I from LA though?
No, you're from Carson. That's what I
I
heard of. Yes.
I never lived in Los Angeles proper in my entire life.
So they should just call it California rappers, non-Bay
No.
Area California rappers.
No, because there's rappers in San Diego, there's rappers in Fresno, there's rappers in Bakersfield, there's rappers in like Barstow, there's rappers in what we call the high desert. Like there's like Flip Major who just free Flip Major for well, no, not free him. I don't know what he did. Flip Major's in jail. He's from what we call the high desert. You know what I'm saying? He's from what we call the high desert. There's rappers in Palmdale and Lancaster. This is stupid. That's what this is. Because
The premise itself can't be defined. You're saying even deeper than that of where people are ranked. You can't even judge it by the
where are you
paradigm
from, Elliott
that
Wilson?
works. I'm from Woodside, Queens, New York City.
You lived in the Queens proper,
Queens County, New York City. Yes.
Queens County. Are there cities inside of Queens?
No.
So
We're all products of New York City. New York City is 5 boroughs.
Exactly.
Queens is one of them. Yeah.
Exactly.
Queens is one.
That's my point. Culture and geography has a role in these things. That's not how LA is set up. It's not just LA and OC, Orange County, and IE. There's cities within it. Because Mac 10 is from Inglewood. Do you consider him the same thing as Ice Cube, who's from Los Angeles, who's from South Central? Do you consider D Smoke, who's from Inglewood, the same thing as you consider Dub C, who's from South Central? That's not the same thing.
You are absolutely right, and you would know more than me. But I think the perception we have, whether unfair or not, to the average person who isn't from California, is that unless it's distinctly Bay Area, we view all the other stuff as LA.
Which is why,
even though it's not accurate.
Which is why everybody should mind their fucking business.
There's E40 and Too Short, and then there's Kendrick and Tyler. Like, it's just, that's what we look at. Like,
which is why that's why everybody should just mind their fucking business
and stay on stream and make it on stream.
Compton is not Compton. If when I go to New York, I tell people I'm from LA because I know that you guys don't know the difference. When people come from the East Coast and they say, "Oh, I'm from Philly," okay, but people in Philly don't say that. They say, "I'm from North Side" or "I'm from whatever," right? "I'm from West Philly" or whatever. That's a difference. That's a different thing. When you go to the Bay Area, it's not just the Bay Area. It's not even just Oakland. It's like, no, I'm from East Oakland. Yeah. That's different than
Fillmore, East Oakland, West Oakland.
That's different than West Oakland, or you know what I'm saying? Yes. When people go to San Francisco, they be like, "Oh, I'm from Frisco." No, the homies from Frisco, that's from Fillmore. They say I'm from Fillmore. They don't even say that. Game, he says I'm from Compton. Vince Staples, Snoop Dogg, I'm from Long Beach. Rayvon, I'm from Long Beach. That's not the same thing. Because everywhere is not set up the same way, everybody should just mind their business.
Well, one last thing on this, though, beyond the paradigm of the thing, you're explaining how flawed it is. It just seems like whenever people make these sort of West Coast MC things or West Coast historical things, the game himself, Chuck Taylor, becomes a sort of polarizing figure that's either being overly recognized or being ignored. Like, what do you guys make of that? Where it just seems like the game is always the one that's like people love him, but then there's another theory that he's more appreciated from non-West Coast people in terms of these lists or in terms of notoriety and what his contributions have been to the culture.
I talked to him about it.
What do you
He
say?
said he basically gave me great life advice.
Mm.
He told me not to do what he did.
Which
Make
is
that list.
And I don't want to. No. This is before. This predates the list, but it has something to do with it. And I'm not. Again, I'm not going to divulge the full conversation. But the sentiment of the conversation was, he's a problem child. He knows that he's a problem child. He's problematic. People don't like him. People don't fuck with him. And that's the bed that he made, and he lays in it comfortably.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
What
So
I like
someone was
about
like,
Game is that, like, in the sense of his career arc, the bridges he burned, the fact that he survived the bridges he burned is more than most people can ever say. So the fact that Game is in the conversation 15, 20 years later is impressive in itself, because he burned bridges with potentially three of the most powerful people in all of music, maybe four to five. Like, if you really look at who he was partnered with and then who he was no longer partnered with 3 or 4 years later, like, that definitely shifted his career arc. Like, there's no question that if he sticks with Dre, if he's part of G Unit, if him and M are close, like, if all these things went correctly, how he came into the game, 10-year run looks different for Game. But the fact that he survived that and still does put out great projects, even with kind of like the little like baggage on his back that some people don't want to touch because of all of the burned bridges, I think he does deserve a lot of credit. Like, there's no question that Game is
but
one
do
of
you think that? But that seems to me like that's a lot of industry stuff, or a lot of the business stuff, or a lot of even that side of it. Do you think that affects like critics' view of him and how they look at his status? Like, how does it
Well, I
connect
think it
to?
affects the music. I think it affects because he
Okay.
doesn't have access to certain things. Like, certain
Mm,
people didn't want to work with him, or he was
mm,
unable to work with certain people, or he didn't get the beats he needed sometimes, or maybe the features he needed sometimes. So I do
yeah.
think he plays a big role in giving early opportunities to people as well. Like, I know different people credit different things, but he had a Kendrick on a song pretty early on where on the City, where Kendrick had a pretty stellar verse. I think that was actually right before or around Good Kid, Mad City. He had Drake on early songs. He had Nipsey on songs and on
Hmm.
tour. Like, he deserves credit for remaining intact with the culture for a long time. Why do
Is
you
there
think
such thing as East Side Queens, Elliott Wilson?
No, no, sir. Why? What makes you think of that?
What's the difference between New York and East New York?
East New York is a part as a neighborhood in Brooklyn, in the county of Brooklyn.
Why is it called East New York?
It's just the street area with the community around it. It's
Is
just
there a city? Is there a city or department or like a
no, it's
police?
just Brooklyn. East New York is just a part of Brooklyn. It's Brooklyn is the county and
Gotcha.
all part of New York City. So it's just being distinctive where you're from Brooklyn. I'm from Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. I'm from East New York. I'm from this part. It's just like you said, it's just the neighborhoods. Yeah.
Exactly. So you have cultural things, then you have geographical things, right?
Mhm.
And cultural things usually for us outweigh geographical things. Like Hollywood is not a real city. There's no
Yeah.
Hollywood police department. There's a West Hollywood. That's an actual city with a police department.
Mhm.
But then I saw that like B Dot hit up him and B Dot and Glasses had that thing, and I
Yeah.
just said, you got it, bro, because I'm not about to have this conversation with you because you actually really don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, not B Dot specifically, but people B Dot
Well, they don't
include.
understand. They don't understand. I mean, you literally just admitted you lied to niggas to just say you from LA because you know they can't even comprehend you breaking
No,
it
I'm
down
from
to them.
Los Angeles. I've been in Los Angeles County the majority of my life, but that's a
I got
different
you.
thing than other places because
Yeah.
if you go to Florida, they got Dade County, they got different counties, right? That's how they choose to identify themselves. We don't identify ourselves that way. When you talk to like Eastside K Boy, he's from an area what we call the low bottom East Side, but then you hear J Rock say, I'm East Side Johnny. So to the untrained ear, you
Hmm.
would think they from the same place. That's completely, totally different places. I'm talking about like in a real way, starkly different places. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So
absolutely.
what I'm saying is when you have these conversations, when I think Glasses had mentioned something about Long Beach and that B Dot said something
Yeah.
about the mayor or whatever he said, it's like, you know what? This is not for you to understand, champ. And again, going back to previous episode of The Bigger Picture, in which I stated I had a conversation with Jason Martin, and I said it's exhausting trying to articulate and pontificate our culture to the masses on platforms because it just don't make sense. And Jason Martin said, you know what? That's just okay. I'm cool with people just not understanding. So that's kind of where I am with it, which is why I said I don't want nothing to do with the list and why I told B-Dot, you got it. Because I'm just not finna keep explaining our shit to everybody else. Even Watts. Watts is not a real city. Watts is the city of Los Angeles. Watts is a prestige. It's an area. If you look this shit up, Hollywood, Watts, if you look at the zip codes, it's gonna tell you it's Los Angeles. Crenshaw is not a real district. It's not a real area like that. There's no Crenshaw District Police Department. You know what I'm saying? It's the LAPD. So it's different things and culture and different nuances that people don't understand. So then when you start making lists based on things you don't understand, you're gonna get it wrong every time.
I mean, I look at the quote now. Jeremy pulled it up. He said, "DJ Hed, please help." He was trying to learn. DJ Hed. He was trying to be
No,
educated.
he don't care. He don't really want to learn.
He said, "Please help."
He don't really want to learn, bro. If he really wanted to learn, he would. B-Dot has my number. That's why I don't do like all this shit. All this shit is stupid. It's goofy. Academics has my phone number. B-Dot has my phone number. Rory and all have my phone number.
I have your phone number.
I've had the same
Lauren
number.
Lauren LaRosa has your number.
I've had the same phone number since 2003. I don't change my phone number. I don't run from any conversation. So when you want understanding, there have been a couple of people, salute to them, to be transparent. There have been a few people who calls me over the last year and a half and be like, hey, bro, I don't understand this. Like, explain this to me. Oh, for sure. Oh, well, the same way, Elliott Wilson. You've asked me before, like, hey, what's this? And I'll explain it to you. Jeremy Heck has called me, or we had sidebars off the air, like, hey, like, is this too much? Did I like, what's going on? Whoop, whoop. That's a person looking for understanding. A tweet saying, well, isn't this and isn't that? And then DJ Hed, please. That's not searching for understanding. That's condescending.
West Coast.
And it's funny because it's like it really is confusing to the outside. Like when I first moved here and you imagine LA, like I always say I was shocked that all of LA wasn't Malibu. Like I thought like, oh, it's all just LA is just a beach. And then you're like, oh, Malibu's all the way over there, and downtown's all the way over here, and Santa Monica's here, and Inglewood's here. But we consider this all like this is all LA, quote unquote. Like LA County is different than LA City, and it's very confusing. So that's why even on this, even having lived there for 9 years, I don't really even feel qualified to comment on a list like this because I don't even know who's considered. Like I just can't even say.
Yo, just say Hed. So Hed, you're not going to answer the question. What do you consider Tupac? What do you have a view of how you view where Tupac is from?
I look at adoption as a real thing. I look at Tupac as one of us.
Los Angeles.
I consider Tupac to be more West Coast than I do Los Angeles, if I'm being honest.
Like, well, he has the famous quote of saying he feels more Oakland. He personally feels more Oakland. Like,
so the way I get to that is because I moved a lot. We were poor. I went to 5 elementary schools in real life, right? I moved all over the place. I consider myself to be from what we call the east side, meaning east of the 110 freeway. Really, it's a street called Broadway that runs parallel to the 110 freeway. Do your Googles, whatever. My mom's family is from Compton. My dad's family is from Linwood/Compton, right? I grew up and down Wilmington my whole life. I spent summers in Compton, going to Compton College, NYSP with my cousin Ian. He lived down all cross street from Southside Park. I spent most of my adolescence in Carson, which is where I believe where you're from. This is, again, it's all opinion based. Where you're from is where you formulate who you are. I don't necessarily think where you're from is based on geography, because if that was the case, everybody would be from random places because of migration. That doesn't make sense. You're from where you become who you are, where you ingratiate and indoctrinate your culture. I believe that's where you're from. Now, it does have to happen between a certain time period, in my opinion. Adolescence, preteen, formative years, right? You have cognitive years, you have formative years, etc. Our brain don't stop developing until we like 25 to between 25 and 30 or something like that. That's science, whatever. But what I'm saying is, when you indoctrinate yourself into a community, I believe that's where you're from. Corrupt is from Philly. Exhibit is from Albuquerque. Whatever the case may be. Exhibit, go watch our interview with Exhibit. Exhibit got in his car with everything he owned, including some unsavory devices. and drove himself to Los Angeles for an opportunity to participate in West Coast, I mean in Los Angeles culture, and ingratiated himself and indoctrinated himself into it. I consider Exhibit one of us. Again,
Yeah.
I've said on previous episodes of The Bigger Picture, I consider West Coast to be Denver. I consider West Coast to be Reno, Vegas, Phoenix, you know, like Tempe, like I consider all that
Tempe,
Tacoma,
Arizona.
Tacoma, Eugene, all that is West Coast to me. Bill Gates is a West Coast nigga.
Something that has never been
who
said
changed the
before,
world?
ever.
You know what I'm saying?
Say it again. Say it again.
So in the way I look at things, I look at Pac as one of us. He's from the West. He got indoctrinated, and
Don't say from the West. You're saying the distinction of LA in a sense.
no, I'm not saying that because he was with Humpty and them.
I know that, and he has the famous quote where he considers himself Oakland. But I think as a fan, because his most prolific era is him going
And that's
to
what I'm
post
trying to
jail.
tell you. You're wrong.
LA. What am I saying? I didn't say what I What are you talking about? I'm asking you the distinct. You're not answering the question. It's clear it's either Oakland or LA.
No, it's
You're
not clear.
saying
That's what I'm trying to explain.
You're saying
to you.
West Coast. So what's the answer?
What I'm trying to tell you is that's not clear cut. I don't consider him as LA or the Bay. There's not an or, it's an and.
So there's no answer. So both.
He's a West Coast artist.
That's a cop out. What's the answer? What's the core?
To you, there's a cop out. You have your opinion. I got mine.
So it's a tie. It's a tie.
No, I don't have enough information to know what he considers himself. All I'm going on is based on my opinion.
There's an interview where he said they were trying to pull him to LA where he says he claims Oakland.
Okay.
But I feel the majority of people don't even view him that way, even though, of course, I know of his history with Digital Underground. Most people don't view him that way. They're
It doesn't matter.
Say, none of this matters. It's in a debate show. And I asked you very clearly what the question is, and you've never answered the question. Here's the Oakland thing. Yes, here we go. Let's play it, Jeremy. We ain't playing nothing today, right? Let's do it. Can we hear it? I can't hear it.
You got to unmute yourself, fool.
Sorry. Okay. Can you hear now?
See, he had no tech.
Now, I get so much feeling from Oakland. Because that's where I got the game at. You know what I'm saying? Coming out of New York, I always learned about flavor and different shit like that. Not to diss New York, I learned a lot, but I never knew the game. I never learned the game. And when I went to Baltimore, I didn't learn the game. Nobody ever took the time to show me the game. When I got to Oakland, that's when I learned the game. That's when I just, somebody just woke it up inside me. You know what I'm saying? Like a religion. And I just saw it, and I saw it in Oakland, and I saw it living in Oakland, I saw it thriving in Oakland. I just saw everybody being about the game. That's the first time I saw all niggas thinking about one thing, the game. And they all followed one rule, the game, the rules of the game. And that was never in no other city I lived in. So I give all my love to Oakland. If I'm going to claim somewhere, I'm going to claim Oakland. Even if I don't live there. I live in LA now, but I'm going to still claim Oakland. That's where it gave me the game. So I'm a resident, you know what I'm saying?
So what do you feel Oakland needs, like in the 60s, they came up with the
We good. So so it's very clear. He's saying that don't put the LA thing on me, it's Oakland. And I guess the challenge is that's what he wasn't on that list because they was like he doesn't qualify that us. So I just wanted your opinion. Do you think it's Oakland or LA? You keep saying West Coast.
That's my answer.
I'm just gonna take the man at his word and assume he chooses his words carefully. And
if the man want to be from Oakland, let him be from Oakland.
So can a man be from what he claims, like you said, like Exhibit claimed out, like took himself to Los Angeles and did make his impact. So someone could have that even if the outside world, the majority of people don't see him that way. That person is telling their truth and they can stand on that, and that's what they are.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay.
all things come back to the game. Did you hear how many times he mentioned the game? He said, I learned the game. They follow the game. I see why Jason Taylor always
it's Jason.
Jason.
There you go.
Yeah, sorry, Jason.
Self-spotlight. We're doing self-spotlight, right? With self-spotlighting?
Yeah, what do we got? We got going on. Elliott Wilson Experience. Talk to us. We're back, season 2. Key Glock interview
Season
just
2 is
dropped.
back. Thank you for your support on that. The Key Glock interview drop. Just happy to be back doing some one-on-one content. And the next one is actually someone I want to spotlight musically, Leon Thomas. I know he's R&B. This is a hip hop show, but he transcends it. He's dope. MUTT album was great. He just put out a deluxe version of the album, MUTT Deluxe, and he's going to be the next interview on the Elliott Wilson Experience. So look out for that. But
He's
here
having
we
a
are.
moment now. I'm excited
He's
for
having a
that.
moment. I think he's the best in R&B right now. R&B slash hip hop. I think he's the best right now.
Shout out to Leon. I went to his release party,
Mm.
and it was crazy, man. There's people everywhere enjoying the music. Big Sean. I had the chance to chop it up with Big Sean.
Sean Dunn.
Did you ask
He's
him?
got two features on that deluxe, Big Sean. Yeah.
I
Did you
told
ask
Sean, huh?
him? What was your question going to be to him? You were going to call him and be like, "Hey, are you content?" Did you ask him if he was content?
Yeah, hell yeah. I asked him, I said, bro, you good? He was like, yeah, I'm good. And Sean is always in humble, great spirits, in my opinion. And I like to see him in that way. We chopped it up, for a minute, like in the club, and then we left kind of at the same time. So we was in the parking lot for a minute chopping it up. Um,
Did you ask him about
and
Jeremy Hecht at all? You didn't ask him about
no,
Jeremy
no,
Hecht? No?
He
no.
did follow me on Instagram this week, though, so you might have sparked it.
So I told him that, we fuck with him, and I told Sean that I'm gonna pull up to the studio this week after BT, because I need him to talk more shit.
You're going to be the shit talking button pusher, like, "Hey, more, talk more shit."
I just want him to. He said he's. I mean, I ain't gonna tell you what he said, but the sentiment was he's just being true to himself, and he loves to be the moment creator.
You created some more moments, Ted. I seen you, what was the Marathon Burger? You opening up burger shops with the, you know what I'm saying? With the,
I'm opening up burger
yeah,
shops.
you're saying you
You're
part of
ushering
the
them.
festivities, ushering burgers to
Roddy
the
Rich,
community.
Roddy
I,
Rich interview. Gina Views there.
Laura London, right? Next to the Queen.
yeah, shout out to Lauren. Shout out to the whole family, man. Marathon Burger location 2 on Venice Beach is open now. It's close to Elliott Wilson. Go check that out. Um, Same great recipe, different locations. Now you can go get your issue. There's more to come from the marathon and
I
all
really
money
keep
in.
hearing how I really sorry, I really keep hearing how good the food really is. Everybody keeps telling me the
It's
food is the
actually
real
good,
deal.
and I wouldn't be just saying that because this is family and whatnot. The food is actually good. Like
And
I
not
haven't
just the
had
burgers, right? Shrimp I
I
hear
don't
is
eat
good.
beef, but I had the portobello mushroom burger and I've had the vegan burger, and both are stellar. And when you go there, like you got to get the tiger shrimp too, because whatever they seasoning is that they season that tiger shrimp with, go crazy. The fries are good. Like I've had most of the stuff on the menu. The little salad they got is good. Like I've
Fuck
had
up a
most of the
salad.
things on the menu. But yeah, shout out to Black Sam. Shout out to, everybody, the whole team, and um I was able to talk to Lauren, and that was our first picture we took together. She's like, "Bro, we don't got no pictures together." I'm like, "No, we don't."
Oh,
So we took our picture or whatever. Shout out to Nikki, Creative and LB, and then yeah. So
how long have you known Lauren? If I may
mm,
ask. Over a decade, I guess, right? Something like that.
nah, it ain't been that long. Probably like 5 years,
Okay.
6 years,
Okay.
something like that. 5 or 6 years.
Dope. Dope.
But yeah, no, we got a lot of the same people in a lot of people in common. But yeah, we
Yeah.
took our pictures. India pulled up. Shout out to India Love. She was on stream. I seen some chatter about that. People was upset thinking that I was streaming. I'm not streaming. I'm not a streamer yet. But if I want your spot, I'll come for it.
Oh, hey.
What?
Say it again. What'd you say? What'd you say? You would take some kid streamer spot? You would just take his
Nah,
spot.
I don't think he was
nah,
talking
You
to
just
some
said
kid. I don't think he was talking to some random kid streaming that he wanted this spot.
it.
nah. I'm just
All
saying,
the
like,
big
if
dogs?
I wanted to start streaming, I'll just start streaming, and then that would just be that. But I'm not a streamer yet. Um,
Yeah, he says, yeah, Jeremy. And go right
Well,
after the
all
top
things are on the
dogs.
table at this point. You know what I'm saying? I want to be
Noted.
Okay.
multi-platform. So,
Okay.
if streaming is the thing, I might see what's up with that. But as of now, I'm not a streamer, so everybody calm down. Um, but yeah,
No
it was
formal
dope.
announcement yet. No formal announcement yet, Jeremy.
Did you and Roddy any updates there? Album, music? Did you discuss anything that we can speak about on air?
Look at his face. Look at this guy.
Stream.
It's some exciting things happening for
Did he
Roddy Rich.
did he play you some off his phone?
Oh, he been playing me records the whole, like, for the last. I've been
Oh, Oh,
You said you're still not
Jeremy.
commenting though, right? No, I think he said on an episode, he's like, Roddy's been playing me, but or like I didn't want to hear because I'm too honest or something like that. Like, and then he stopped playing you songs.
No,
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 the
no, no.
most
Okay,
recent one.
so
No,
okay, let me.
the most recent one. You were saying you didn't know what was going on with him. You
I
ain't
Yeah,
heard
haven't
yeah.
spoke
nothing.
Like,
You
to him.
lied. You capped.
I no, that's not true. I had recently spoke to Roddy. Probably in the last month, I spoke to him, and we've been catching up and getting back into our normal rhythm of,
There you
big,
go. He had you
big
on.
brother,
He had you on timeout. That's what happened. He had you
big
on
brother,
timeout
little brother. Nah, it wasn't that. He all will be revealed soon. Elliott Wilson.
in August,
check back in
September,
August.
October,
It
November.
there's a reason for everything.
God, I hate this show, man. I love this show and I hate this show.
It's a
Why you
fun.
hate the show?
It's like cryptic chess and shit.
It's not cryptic chess. It's just you want me to just jump out the window and be like, you know what? Roddy signed to Jay Z, and Roddy signed to
We'll
Jay
change his
Z, and he's
verse.
on and the Clipse side. He's all over the Clipse album, and that's what you want me to do? Just make it up as we go, like everybody else.
I want to make
Sometimes
a
you
list
have
of DJ Hed secrets list. Can we do it? I would call it complex. Can we work on that one? DJ Hed secrets.
But what is
Top 10.
cool is that you can say things and then like it can age well, right? You could say something and like we're poking, but then it comes out like 6 months later and you're like, go back. Okay, all right, that's what he meant. I can see why he was quiet, or like that's why he said that.
Oh
So
no, there's
He loves it.
for this Roddy stuff. There's a reason why
yeah.
I'm not talking. I can't talk about anything. Like I can't even give you anything.
The reason is rich. Wait, lastly, exhibit interview out now, effective
Yes.
immediately.
Yeah, go check out that exhibit interview. It's fire.
X.
Exhibit is one of the greats, man, and I want to salute to Exhibit because the Kingmaker, I think charted #1 on Apple, and X told me something, and I don't know if it's supposed to be public or not, but X had never had a #1 record before his entire career, and so this Kingmaker album, I'll give you the footage if you want, but I went and I just really appreciate Exhibit because he told me that. So he ended up telling me we were on FaceTime and he told me, he said, "Hey bro, I want to thank you." And I'm like, "Why?" And he says, "Because I've never had a #1 record before." Like, I'm like, never? I was like, what about Restless? And like all the big, he's like, bro, I've never had he said, I've never had a solo #1.
Wow.
Never. My entire career, 20 years, never had one, whatever. He said the #1s I had was with Dre or Dog or
bitch please, right? Bitch please, probably.
He's like, those are the #1s, but I finally got my #1, and he said, I want to thank you. And I'm like, why? He said, because when I first started working on this record 2 years ago, you gave me real honest critique, and you said no, like you wasn't fucking with it. And he said, based on what you said, I went and redid a lot of stuff and re-recorded and recut, and it's #1 now. He's like, that's why I want to thank you. And I was like, damn, that's crazy, bro. Like that just tripped me out because X is one of my legends. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, that's fire, bro.
BPM? Was it a BPM critique?
It wasn't a BPM critique. I just didn't feel the records in a way that I feel them how they came out. Like what came out is better than what he played me. Cause we had like, I think we had like 2 studio sessions. One of them I went to Vegas and we had a studio session, and then he had just sent me a link before we went to Vegas. He sent me a link. I listened to the records. I was like, nothing is moving me. It's just it's just music. It's whatever. And then we went to Vegas. We had a studio session. He played me some shit. I was like, okay, like this is more the direction or whatever. And then I think we talked again one more time. It was like three times where I kind of gave my feedback or whatever. And he just said that he went and refreaked the record to kind of mold around like my critiques. And he said he just wanted to thank me. And that shit was like, that was crazy for me. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, wow. And wait, what did it go #1 on?
I think it was on #1 on rap charts or something like that.
Fire. Shout out to X. And then is there anything going on for BT weekend that you want people to pull up to? Because this will drop Saturday. So
I heard Lil Wayne is performing.
Right after he tears down the Garden, he's gonna fly to LA, tear some more stuff down.
Coast to coast. Coast to coast.
I heard.
What you got, Jeremy?
I heard Wayne is performing for BET Awards.
Okay.
on Monday. I think it's is it Sunday
Yeah,
or
Monday.
Monday? Yeah, I
Monday.
heard he's performing Monday.
This kid's talking a lot about Lil Wayne today. Got a lot of Lil Wayne talk. Watch this guy.
I'm
I'm
excited to see what's going on.
maybe is there maybe a little on record, addressing of whacked out murals?
What?
No, I'm just kidding.
You niggas always trying to turn a
Instigate.
narrative into something. I'm a
Instigate.
Lil Wayne
Instigator.
fan. I'm a Lil Wayne fan just like everybody else, bro. And I want to see him win and thrive and all the things. I don't agree with a lot of things he does, but he's a man. You know what I'm saying?
One of the greats. What do we
What's that,
got?
Jeremy? Sound check.
Soundcheck. Yep, Too Short episode out now on Uproxx YouTube. That was super fun. Short as always. He's just a funny guy, fun to be around.
Yeah, sir, too short. Sir, too short.
Sir, Too Short. A couple clarifications. People thought that I was saying Too Short is the only person to have worked with Pac and Big. What I said was he's the only person to have worked with Pac, Big, and Jay-Z. So he has that trifecta. So, that's a legendary stat. We did have some Bay Area, songs that I did play for him, but he's very like protective of the coast. He's like, I'm not choosing, so he put E40 in
Oh,
there.
first time you got
Yeah.
turned down?
Yeah, a couple. No, like he did it. He did it. It just wasn't much for like me understanding his music taste because he's like, they're the same songs. But yeah, shout out to Short. That's out. And then next week is one of my favorite episodes that I've done so far. Our guy Ab Soul on the show from the Red Bull Cypher.
Woo!
So that episode
Finally.
is gonna be great. I talked to Keanu Reeves this week on the red carpet. And
Okay.
Canadian legend. I read him. I said, "Do you know that you are a hip hop legend?" And he's like, "I'm not aware. I didn't know that." I was like, "No, you get referenced a lot." And he's like, "No, just my characters, not me. My movies, not me." I was like, "No, but your name." So I read him off some lyrics from like M and Freddie Gibbs and The Weeknd, and he's like, "Yeah, that's just." He's humble. He's like, "That's just Speed. That's just a movie. It's just a Matrix. I'm not." I'm like, so yeah. Shout out to Keanu Reeves,
Still
hip hop.
counts. Still counts, Scandal.
It counts. And then yeah, BT Awards next week. So hopefully we'll have some more to talk about.
Both of you back in LA together as brothers on the sound stage. Whatever the hell we be taping. I said we was gonna do a real short today. Of course, we did the same fucking long ass episode because you niggas is talkative. And here we are.
Spotlight?
Chatty.
Yeah,
That was it.
spotlight.
Those are the spotlights. That was it. That was self
No, that
spotlight.
wasn't the spot. Those was plugs. I got a spotlight.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
left there.
music
Go
spotlight.
ahead, killer. I threw my Leon Thomas in there, MUTT Deluxe. Go ahead.
I want to
Go ahead.
spotlight the Coyote.
Mm.
Shout out to the Yotes, man. They dropped the album. It's called YoteLAndia. With the LA big, you know what I'm saying, with the American flag. Go look up the Coyote. Go look up Coyote. Rap Brothers duo, like top tier. They're like, to me, they're like Mexican Clipse from LA. You know what I'm saying? Like bars, cadence, rhyme schemes, hard beats. Like, I don't really know. This is gonna sound egregious. I don't really know any Mexican artists fucking with Coyote right now.
A challenge to the Brown. A challenge.
No, I'm just saying, like, I'm just talking about from a hip hop lens, like from this perspective, like everybody got records and slaps, and more people got more hits and bigger records and stuff like that. But I'm talking about just barring up, like because the Yotes, you got to think they went on a freestyle run, crazy. They did On the Radar, then they did like 5 freestyles in relatively in the last like on this rollout. So just barring up, and they never run away from that. So shout out to the Coyote, man, go get that.
Yeah, that album was fire. I listened to it, but I'm like halfway through. I'm gonna finish that on the plane on the way home. But it's just fun hip hop too. Like it's like the way that they're making jokes, they're barring, their storytelling. It's very if you love good, high quality raps, fun hip hop, charisma, storytelling, you'll like that album. So
I got one more. RJ Mr. LA.
Dude, what are you, Jeremy Heck? You Jeremy Heck up here? What's going on?
RJ Mr. LA. He got a song out called, I think it's called Baby, where they sampled Number One Stunning. Man, RJ is just a top tier rapper, bro. So go listen to that RJ Mr. LA. Amio 4 is on the way. Elliott Wilson, say it with me. Amio.
Amio.
Yeah,
Am I saying it wrong? What's that?
that's it. You
Wait,
good?
what am I saying? Is that
You're not,
offensive?
but
I'm
you're about to
scared
be
now.
sampled in a song. His whole goal here was just to get you say that now you're
No,
sampled.
Amio is his label. It's his brand. It stands
Okay.
for On My Mama, I'm On.
Amio, I like that. Amio, shout out the movement. Amio,
He got a
Yo,
song out with Joe Moses too. That's dope.
shout out to
West
Joe
Coast
Moses.
out here. West Coast gonna be active this summer. It's gonna be
Oh,
interesting summer for
it's
the
gonna
West
be a good
Coast.
summer, bro. Ray Vaughn, yeah, it's gonna be a good summer, bro.
Stay on stream.
Stay on
Um,
stream.
I want to spotlight. I only got one today, Elliott. No, I'm not gonna.
Oh God.
I know everybody. But yeah, shout out to John Bellion who just dropped a new album for the first time in 7 years. He
Where he
was
been?
So basically, he had some industry shit but he found out when he did a sold out show. I think it was like 10,000 people or something like that. He found out how much Live Nation was taking of his profits and how much he was actually keeping versus like what was being sold ticket wise, which was crazy. And he's basically like, he left. He left music for, he's like, all right, I'm done for a while. And he was gonna stop making music, but he ended up continuing to write. He writes 9 number 1 hits in a row for other people, including Justin Bieber, include like the list goes on
Wow.
in terms of who he
Wow.
wrote for. Jonas Brothers, John Batiste. He wrote like crazy amount of number ones. And eventually his label called and basically gave him his masters back and allowed him to continue with a way better like split, like way, 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 way better. And so then he finally has been working on new music for the last couple years, and he dropped for the first time in 7 years, and it just went number 3 on iTunes, I believe, yesterday, surpassing Taylor Swift. And even so I had met him for the first time. I met him on a red carpet, and shout out to Rob Markman who connected us. So I was at his house yesterday listening to the album with him, which was crazy for me because I've been a fan for so long, and I was with him when he found out it went number 3. And so go check that out
Dope.
if you love. Great songwriter, super conceptual, super dope. And he's got bars too. He doesn't rap very often, but he does have some bars on the
Okay.
album. John
Shout out to
Bellion.
that. Shout out to that man's adversity, man. Shit.
Yep.
Like,
Anything else?
comment, subscribe.
Yeah, do all of the things. We appreciate you. I joined the Bigger Picture group on X too.
There you go.
Now
Uh,
you just did?
I did it like 2 weeks ago, I think,
Okay.
but I've been trying to like pop in, and I don't know how it works, but whatever. But yeah, make sure you comment and subscribe to the Bigger Picture. Like this video, share it with your people, and stay on stream.
Salute the chat. Salute the chat. We'll be in place next
Sir.
week. Thank you for riding the little Zoom mission with us, man. Hope you enjoyed it.
This is fun. Miss you guys.
Oh my God.
Good big shot.
All right.